Good afternoon from Chicago, Illinois. Week 12 Simulation Football League action is here, and we are ready for the London Knights as they come into town to take on the Chicago Wildcats. Andy Hamilton along with Dan Mitchell on the call with you tonight, live from the Thunderdome in Chicago, Illinois. Dan, for Chicago, it's really quite simple. They can punch their ticket to the SFL playoff today with a win.
Exactly, Andy. They're coming off a win last week versus Seattle. Current record 6-5. As you just said, a win would set them into the playoffs. Out here, you're seeing the points and the comparison. Right now, Chicago's doing very well this season, staying ahead while their defense has been trying to keep up. Their offense is high scoring with people like E.T. King and Ash Odom on the front lines for them. London coming out here to play spoiler, really just give them a good shot for their last game of the season.
Pass defense for Chicago, as you saw there, a general concern, which plays into the London Knights' attack plan. They like to go through the air with their quarterback Angus McLean and two really good receivers, which we'll get to later in the broadcast. But the Knights, earlier today, Dan, locked up the first overall pick in the Season 15 rookie draft. But don't underestimate them. This is a team that can attack you if you're not ready for it.
Exactly. They're high flying and high scoring. We'll have to see if it's a shootout by the end of the day, Andy.
Ball is on the tee. We are just about ready to get going. Andy Hamilton and Dan Mitchell. Alan and Johnny Bravo are doing our stats. Cameron Irvine behind the ones and twos, and we are underway. Return will be brought out by the Wildcats out across the 25. Plenty of spin moves and out to the 27. And that is where we will see E.T. King. Dan, it's his 29th birthday, and a win and a ticket to the playoffs would be quite the birthday present if he could acquire it.
Definitely happy birthday to him, E.T. King. Been around in this league for 7 seasons. He's doing well for himself in this particular one. Let's see if he can line up and do another one straight to the playoffs.
Chicago wearing their all-grade uniforms today. London wearing white with the red pants. King under center will throw on 1st and 10. Fires across the middle. That is caught for 9 yards, and we will roll through the Chicago offense. King in his 7th season leads the way. Ash Odom and Mike Improta are the backs in the backfield. Liam Hammer, Davius Reed, J.C. Torres are the receiving threats, along with Shan Varner, and Anthony Cece, the kicker, adds the extra points and field goals when called upon. Catch on the last play was made by Yuya Iba, and that will set them up here for 2nd and 1. First handoff to Odom of the day, and he is dropped right at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and inches. Nice play by this Knights defense. Brandon Ewing in his first season leads the way, along with Devin Say at cornerback. Joe Duncan, Matthew Braun, William Davidson are the defensive line. Stephen Cleland, Telemac Scarborough are the linebackers. Marquise Reed and Jack Russell are the safeties that round out this Knights unit. Here is the handoff to Odom. Odom strings it out wide, and he got to the first down marker, but just barely. Out there to make the tackle for London was Jack Russell.
Andy, that right there needs a magnifier. I could barely tell if he hit that first down line, but the refs are ruling it, and good on them. Chicago keeping their first drive alive and well.
Talk about a photo finish there. Someone's going to have to pull out the Polaroid to take a look at whether he was first across the line or not. They will not challenge it just yet. Going to keep those timeouts in the back pocket. King, 3-step drop, will dump it out of the backfield to Odom here on this near side. Odom will put 2 men down and pick up 8. Looks like he was going to be lucky to get a yard or 2, and he turned it into 8.
Yeah, that right there was some individual effort. You know, a solid 7 yards after the first hit of contact. He was just trucking through people. Maybe we'll see a big Ash Odom day today.
If you want to get involved in the chat at twitch.tv/FTF next, we are watching, and we will talk about some of the chats here in a moment. Odom will fall forward for a yard, and Mike Daggs asked if I even know what a Polaroid is. I'm not that young, Mike. I mean, I'm a young guy, but I know what a Polaroid is. It's that's what you put in a VCR player, right?
Yeah, you got to wind it up and put it in the tape. That's at least as far as I know, but the defense did a great job holding up Odom.
I don't know how we got back to talking about the play after we started going on about tapes and VCRs, but we made it. Heavy formation here, one in the backfield, and King's going to float this one out to Odom in the passing game. Odom gets to the line of scrimmage, and that'll be a first down. Good way to convert a third down, and that's something we see out of Odom quite a bit.
Yeah, that right there was perfect for him. You know, he's averaging 5.4 yards a carry. He's not really showing it right now besides the one good truck down, but the swing really just opened up his game, let him see what was open on the field, and picked him up the first down.
Dual threat player for Chicago. They like to get him involved however they can. They'll involve him up the middle here on first down, a 1-yard carry. London stout against the run so far today. Jack, that's going to be helpful if they can keep that up.
Yeah, right now, London's normally allowing 135 rush yards a game. Right now, they're angling for less as they're putting a great shutdown on everything Chicago's throwing them down the middle.
Just the first drive, but obviously first drive sometimes can be the most telling because it's the best plays you have and the defense doesn't know what you're throwing at them. Here's the give up the middle to Odom. Odom fights forward for another 3 yards and then is stood up and dropped by this London defense, and he needs a little help getting up. Well, looking at the playoff race, like we said at the top of the broadcast, in case you're just tuning in, for Chicago, it's really quite simple. If you win, you're in. If you lose, the waters get quite murky. There are a lot of tiebreakers and a lot of teams just itching to get into those spots. If you see all those 5 and 6 teams trying to vie for the spots, that's what Chicago would be up against. Third down play is broken up. They tried to go to Varner across the middle, and the deflection is made, and this Chicago drive stalls.
Yeah, that right there was just a truck. Saw the route, really stepped in front of him, just slapped down that ball, giving them a nice chance and stopping them right at midfield. So they're going to have to punt it away, losing the momentum of this drive.
Drove the ball, started at the 27, went 21 yards, took some time off the clock, and at 6:51 here in the first quarter, London gets a stop on the road and will get the punt back. Kick is away from Franklin. This one is going to bounce at the 10. It's going to bounce at the 4, and it will fall dead right there. Good job by the Chicago special teams and Darren Franklin to pin this London Knights offense deep. Angus McLean in his second season coming over from San Francisco leads the way along with Jason Williams, Saren Storm, Gabriel Manning, and Vin Collia, the receivers. Robert Garrett Jr. and Evan Wood, the tight ends, along with JT Delaney, the kicker, round out this London Knights offense, and they are going to be working from the hole of their own end zone. From the 2, they give to Williams, and he lost 1 yard right there to make the play was Clint Hendershot, and he leads this defensive unit along with Jesse Vick, Gerald Giudice, Raymond Jones III. We already met Hendershot there. Buddy Blaze, a star rookie player, Mickey McGuire, Maurice Spurgeon, Ron Hoff, and another star player, Ryan Yosef. Both Yosef and Blaze have been making their impact since getting onto this squad. We'll get to that later. Hendershot stands him up again. Clint Hendershot on 2 plays has said, no positive yards for you, sir.
Well, I mean, coming into this game, Clinton Hendershot had 112 total tackles on the season, 5th most in the league overall. You know, when someone's setting you up like that, it's going to be hard to get on the ground.
3rd and 11 from the 2. McLean stands on the goal line as he takes this snap. Single back, they give right up the middle to Williams, and Williams meet Mr. Hendershot. You two will be doing a lot of work together today, I would assume.
Yeah, Andy, if I had to guess, I'd say Hendershot really dialed in on him so far as he's just been meeting him every single time at the line or even more back, and that was a quick stall out for a London drive.
Well, the punter stands with his heels on the back line. Phil Hunter, the punter, 6'1", 204, will kick it away. Chicago chose not to come after that one. They'll set up for a return, and they'll have great field position as Davius Reed fights his way to the 32 and into field goal range. Well, 2 drives down, no points, 5:10 to go in the first. Don't go anywhere. It's the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Back here in Chicago, the Wildcats get the ball back. They are wearing gray uniforms and orange shoes. London on the other side wearing the white and red. This is the Simulation Football League. Week 12 action, and we are gearing up for the playoffs. E.T. King fires this near side, tipped away and incomplete. Defended well on the outside. They were going for Varner. And speaking of defending them well, last time these two teams met, London, a 42-14 victory. Dan, it was a surprising one.
Yeah, that's a crazy blowout right there by London. This was all the way back in season 12. So, you're heading back a good bit in time. Their series tied 1-1. It looks like Chicago's going to try and whip up one so they can get in the playoffs and get up in the series.
There's a look at J.C. Torres. This Chicago offense now facing a 2nd and 10 for the London 32. 3-3 look out of the Knights defense, and here is Chicago. They're going to dump it off to Ash Odom, and it's incomplete. Odom could not get the handle on it, and Chicago does not look sharp on this second drive.
Yeah, that's something rare to see. First pass was deflected. It is what it is. Second drive, though, a veteran like Ash Odom just bobbling it. He's lucky, London didn't take full advantage of him and just scoop that up from under his arms.
And that will set them up for 3rd and 10. E.T. King 4 of 7 today so far. Low snap, going to sling it. Pressure was coming, had to unload, and it's incomplete. And Odom is going to complain to the ref, trying to find a flag, and there will not be one to be seen. Chicago goes 0 yards after getting the ball back at the 32.
Yeah, great starting field position for them. And almost even within field goal range, seeing if they depend to kick it, if they want to live on the leg. And, but great waste of great positioning. Just a weird stall out for Chicago in the beginning.
Well, Dan, if you know nothing about me, I love being lazy, so going 0 yards sounds like a dream for me. But for offenses, not really what you want. Anthony Cece, they call him automatic. He puts the boot to it. A long one here, and he got it from 48 yards. Chicago takes a 3-0 lead. And their goal line stand from Clint Hendershot turns into points.
Yeah, that right there makes CC 27 for 27. If you really think about it, the offense got points off doing nothing. All special teams working, and all they did was come out and kick it. Interesting second drive coming out here. Seems like a defensive stand from both teams.
Indeed it does. Well, with the playoffs looming, Dan, I'm sure lots of teams are watching this Chicago franchise, hoping either that they stumble or secure the victory. There's a lot to be said for all the teams sitting at 6-5 and 5-6, and even some 4-7 teams maybe watching to figure out where Chicago ends up after this game and how that works. And throughout today, as well as tomorrow, we will be calculating the playoff situations for all the teams trying to still find their way in.
Yeah, and remember, there's a game coming on today as well. Florida and Mexico City at 9 o'clock Eastern. That will also have playoff implications. Everything's playoff implications nowadays, Andy.
Oh, I mean, for Florida and Mexico City, both of those teams trying to find their way in, both dangerous in the postseason if they can get there. So that's one that you got to watch tonight at 9 Eastern. Flip out to Manning. That one is caught. Gabriel Manning, one of the highest paid players in the offseason. Nearly every year we discuss it. But believe it or not even the leading receiver on this team this year.
Yeah, when you got a rookie coming out and getting more yards from them than Sarah and Storm at 753 and Gabriel Manning at 512, it's an interesting dynamic to see.
First completion there for McLean. First time he threw it, they went 3 times to Williams, who lost a yard on the last drive. Here is McLean. Second throw is incomplete underneath. Gerald Giudice supplied the pressure, and McLean had to get rid of it before he was ready.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to get it maybe where a defender could only grab it real low, or maybe just keeping it so no Chicago hands ended up with it. But now they're at 3rd and 3. Hopefully see if they get another 3 and out.
Chicago defense trying to clamp down and not give up the first down. It's 3 yards away for London. Gonna throw, quick drop, and Clint Hendershot. I mean, we are not even out of the first 2 drives, and he is having a day. He's got, 4 tackles, 1 for loss, and 1 deflection right there.
Yeah, that right there, you're happy after that in a full quarter. You still have 4 minutes and 14 seconds left in this one, Andy. It's a day right now for the defense.
I know some players, Dan, that would be happy to have that stat line for the entire game, much less just a quarter, and we're not even done with the first. London stalls out on their second drive. They will punt this one away. Reed is back to return it from the 35. He will get a yard or two, and we will step aside. 3-0, Chicago on top. The Simulation Football League will be right back. We're on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Back here in Chicago, 3-0, Wildcats on top, but just a shaky lead. They are going to try and increase it on this drive here. Andy Hamilton along with Dan Mitchell. Cameron Irvine pressing the ones and twos. Alan and Johnny Bravo on the stats. We appreciate them keeping us honest. Here is the give to Ash Odom. Odom! Ooh, a little bit of a power move there. It looked like Stephen Cleland wasn't even attempting to make the tackle before he got ran over.
Yeah, he was just looking for targets. So far, we got 3 minutes and 49 seconds left in the quarter. We've only seen 33 total offensive yardage, Andy.
That sure is a stat right there. I appreciate Alan and Johnny keeping us honest on those. Here's King to throw again. Ooh, dangerous ball. Wow. What a recovery, though, by Marquise Reed. He was out of position and actually came back to make the play, and I think E.T. King in the huddle is going, man, I thought there was no way he would get back to that ball.
Yeah, just weird zoning right there, but it worked out for him. Marquis Reed just put another bat down on there. It's a weird defensive and very odd offensive game so far.
4 wide for the Wildcats. It is Ash Odom, sidecar left to E.T. King. King gonna fire across the middle, caught! Wow, what a completion, the largest one of the day, and I don't even have to check the stat book for that one. It goes right to Liam Hammer.
Yeah, that right there, the Week 8 signing rookie, coming in this game, 349 yards and 6 touchdowns. Talk about a couch to field and making an impact, Andy.
Hammer, one of the better players for Chicago on the outside as a receiving threat, but they have quite a few receiving threats on this team.
That they do between Liam Hammer, Davius Reed, J.C. Torres, and Shan Varner. They got plenty of options opened up for E.T. King.
Will go in the book as a 20-yard reception for Hammer, and that will set up the drive at the 41. Wow, Ash Odom just, I don't know if he wasn't expecting to get the ball that quickly or what, but King put it in the bread basket, and Odom couldn't come up with it.
Talk about bread, Andy. There was some butter on that man's hand. He was just slinging that.
Hey, you got to be careful, or I'm going to start getting hungry, and all our puns are going to be about food, and then people are going to start tuning out. But we're glad you're here watching us on 11 Sports and For the Fans. And if it's your first time watching, this is the Simulation Football League, and that is a completion to the 22. What a catch by J.C. Torres, and what a throw from King.
In coverage, what a dot right there by E.T. King. He's looking for his man right under pressure. If you saw on the replay, he was getting tackled right after he threw that ball. He dotted that right to J.C. Torres. Overall, amazing play, slant down the middle, and, watch out. Chicago's moved down the field quickly now.
3 wide here to the bottom of the formation mismatch. 2 guys guarding 3 over here in the bottom of your screen. King gonna throw. He flips it to the top side to Shan Varner, and the tight end picks up 8 yards on the sideline.
Yeah, all of our attention was directed downwards to where we saw an open cross about to happen. And instead, E.T. King was looking up, and Shan Varner just moseying his way upfield for an easy 8.
It's all about eye candy. Sometimes you get all 3-star receivers down to the bottom. You distract the defensive coordinator, and you slip the big tight end out to the opposite side, and that'll be good for 7 or 8 yards every time. Odom, the lone man in the backfield. King going to dump it out to Odom, one-on-one, and Odom steps out of bounds, lost a yard.
Yeah, Odom's had a few really good trucking today so far, but I mean, he's had a lot of odd plays today, Andy. Multiple just drops and bobbles and stepping out when he could have easily turned upfield.
9 touches for 17 yards so far for Odom today. Usually a better all purpose back, but in this first quarter, he is struggling to get moving. Now a 3rd and 3. Plenty of room at the top for an out route there if Chicago wants to try it. King going to throw. Out route to the bottom of the screen. And J.C. Torres gets the first down to the 12. Dan, my radar is off just by which end of the field they're going to.
Yeah, but you call at least the play scheme coming out of there, Andy. And, I love the out routes when they pick them up just enough for the first down. A minute and 49 left. Chicago's finally got something going. We're finally seeing some offensive yards on the field while they're at the 12.
Bunch formation here. Odom, the lone man in the backfield. Shan Varner spread up to the top of the formation. They go to Varner. Can he turn the corner? Varner to the end zone! Touchdown, Chicago! They add more and add 6 points from the big guy.
That another out route right on the corner, but that time he does a quick upturn, and the defender couldn't keep up with him. Easy touchdown right there, starting off for Chicago. Have to see if London can respond. Their defense was holding up for a bit, but you got to get some breakthroughs every once in a while.
Well, my good buddy Shan Varner always wears that face mask number 5 for those of you who pick your equipment in the Simulation Football League as a player. And I always make fun of him because he looks like a running back with the face mask and the dark visor, but he showed off some wheels there to get to the end zone, so maybe I should stop that, Dan. What do you think?
I mean, you got to put the respect. Some people have their own suave to it as we see the field go up for the extra point, and it is good. 10-0. Early lead by Chicago coming out. London hasn't really had any yardage in their drive. See if they can open it up. Their best options are with Angus McLean, I do believe, which is something in the air. It's what they got to go to.
For those viewing for the first time, what are you watching? The Simulation Football League is the world's first controllerless esport, allowing you, the viewer, to participate as a player in all the action on the field without a controller in your hands. You can do so from the comfort and safety of your house. All you have to do is visit simulation.football for details on how to get started with a team and in the league. Our minor league season is starting relatively soon. You want to get involved with that, you can pick all your equipment, player information, number, and you can join a team starting really soon, and we can't wait to get you on the field. And, there's also coaching and team owning opportunities as well. That's simulation.football in any browser, whether that's on your phone or computer device. 5 wide here for McLean on 1st and 10. Checks underneath, caught, and then immediately dropped right underneath a 2-yard pickup. Tackle made there by Buddy Blaze.
Yeah, that right there was a quick turnaround. Even a little bit of a further curl out may have been a better option, but they pick up 2. See if they can continue downfield. Maybe they'll take a playbook out of Chicago and slap some out routes in here.
And this is more what we expected out of London, a passing attack. They're 4 wide here. McLean, the lone man under center, no one in the backfield. He will throw. McLean going to float one deep, and it's nearly taken away. Luckily for London, they did not pay the price. McGuire was there, and he gets the bat down.
Yeah, the Week 8 rookie, Mikey McGuire, coming out here. That'd be his 4th bat down the season. Yet to pick up an interception yet, but he's getting close. And if London keeps throwing things like that out, they could walk away with one.
Well, you, as an owner and coach in the league, sometimes you get worried when they float one over the top, but you also know it could be a big play. McLean on an all slants fires, and a diving attempt and catch is made at the 37. Hauling that one in for London was Vincalia.
Yeah, talk about a rookie play. We're talking about an interception, but that right there was an acrobatic stunt, pulling up a ball and looking like they're going to do 3 rolls out of a train.
Well, Dan just got a tweet from Larry the Cable Guy. He is watching and checking out some Simulation Football League action as they're going to swing it out here to Jason Williams underneath to the 40. Larry, thank you for watching. And, we appreciate you checking out some good football. And, let's get you on the field. Why don't you join up, and we'll create a cable guy player, and you can put your equipment on someone.
Wouldn't that be something interesting to see? What position do you think?
Well, that's up to him. Everyone can pick their own position in the league, but I mean, if I had to choose one, I think that there's some good opportunity as a linebacker in this league for Larry the Cable Guy, and I tell you what, we would love to put him on TV because that would be a blast.
Yeah, just like that blast that Ryan Yosef, the rookie, slapped down with the ball after a good bit of tip drill happening on.
I think we could even get an opportunity to let him put "Get Her Done" on the back of the jersey. What do you think, Dan? You think we could get that done?
I definitely think we have enough capabilities to get a whole team worth of it, I think.
A whole "Get Her Done" team. We'll see. Here's McLean. He's going to throw. That one's caught across the middle. Nice catch on third down, and London moves the chains. That will take us to the end of the first quarter. Chicago 10, London nothing. We will return. Don't go anywhere. There's plenty of football left. Back here in Chicago, Illinois, the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. I'm Andy Hamilton along with Dan Mitchell, and we are getting ready for the second quarter of action in Week 12. Remember, the playoffs start next weekend, and we could not be more excited. Here is the give to Williams off this right side. He will pick up 2 before being dragged down by Buddy Blaze.
Yeah, that right there, Williams could have possibly cut upfield a bit more if he turned forward, but it happens, and picking up 2 is not a terrible place to start. Definitely when London normally starts out in the air.
They will go with the heavy formation again as they set up for 2nd and 8. 4 down linemen for Chicago. This a throw out to Williams on the outside, and Blaze is there again, and he gets another tackle. And when you look at what Buddy Blaze has done this season, along with Ryan Yosef, these 2 rookies are making an impact.
Yeah, you got 2 great rookies coming out. Ryan Yosef, a Week 8 signing, and Buddy Blaze coming out, also a Week 8 signing with combined almost 100 tackles, and you're seeing right there on your screen, 13.3 and 11.5 per game. They are making a huge impact.
McLean across the middle, tipped away and incomplete. I think that was Blaze again. His ears must be ringing from all of the praise that we are showering down upon him.
You know, we mentioned him. He said, all right, we got to keep talking about him. He heard us all the way from the booth, and that's some impressive hearing. Maybe he's hearing the ball vibrate in the air.
I think that's just because I'm yelling, because I'm so excited for football to be on.
Aren't we all, Andy? Now Lund's got punted away. They had the making of a good drive, but they get a huge shutdown by a few rooks, which is always something interesting to see.
Punter is on. Phil Hunter kicks this one away with 10 minutes to go in the second. He'll try and pin him deep, and a bad bounce will put that one into the end zone. London cannot do what Chicago did to them earlier in the game, and the Wildcats come out up 10-0, and they're going to try and get it going from their own 20.
Yeah, and how that yardage turned out after that punt, when they punted it away again, you can attribute that to Chicago getting 3 of those points. So a good punter can land you with a very advantageous position.
4-3 defense out of the London Knights. Give up the middle to Ash Odom through 1, and he will pick up 2 yards to the 22. Odom is, not necessarily finding the easiest path today.
Yeah, right now he's 7 yards on 6 attempts. Not normally what you're seeing out of him. Just barely a yard per carry right now. You normally see him over 5. But London's been able to shut him down. We'll see if Chicago's air game has been able to shut London's defense down.
3 wide here, I formation. Improda will stand in front of Ash Odom. They give to Odom up the middle. Improda leads the way, and Ash Odom's out across midfield. Will he be able to get the distance? No, he is down at the 36, tackled from behind, but Mike Improda paves the way for a huge run.
Huge saving tackle, too, right there by the rookie Jack Russell. The strong safety trying to barely keep up with Ash Odom, going for the diving tackle right at the feet. But great job by Ash Odom. It wasn't even looking to be a huge play. He kind of just got a huge afterburner burst and went way upfield all the way to London's 36.
That flips the field for the Wildcats into Knights territory here with just under 9 minutes to go in the second. E.T. King gonna take a shot down the field. He's got it! Touchdown, Chicago! They take that baby to the crib, and the score is made by Liam Hammer.
Yeah, that right there was a beautiful just fade downfield with a wide receiver. Liam Hammer really cutting that route right there wide open, and he just walked right into the end zone. Liam Hammer being a huge rookie, and it bumps up his season touchdowns to 7 right there.
2 big plays, and Chicago flips the field and adds 7 points. The Wildcats just caught fire there over those last two snaps, Dan.
Yeah, huge run by Ash Odom was maybe all the morale boost they really needed. Pending the extra point, they're up 17-0. London's going to have to answer soon, or it's going to be a real nasty shutout in the making.
17-0. The Wildcats on a run, and London can do nothing but watch as Chicago tries to stamp themselves into the playoffs. As we look at the top teams in the playoffs, Chicago trying to set themselves up at 7-5. They could rise here, Dan, in the playoff conversation in terms of seeding, but right now they're comfortably, if the game ended right this second, in a seat in the playoffs to play a game no matter what. And I'm sure for Shan Varner and this Wildcats team, what they want to start is just a spot in the race. When you look down the teams, Las Vegas at 5-6, Florida at 5-6, you have Denver, St. Louis, Mexico City, and Tulsa all trying to bump in. Only 10 teams make the playoffs. If Chicago wins today, they secure that 8th seed.
Yeah, and that's all you can really ask for. Seeding's great and all, but as soon as you secured a spot and you are making your own destiny, not letting some other team's victory dictate it, you're in a good feel.
Here is McLean, going to float one deep, tipped away and incomplete. Chicago was there. They covered Manning well. He is a big-time target, a star in this league, and you have to account for him.
Yeah, and they put the rook cornerback Mikey McGuire on him, and he held his own against him. That's a great job showing so far by Mikey McGuire and the rest of the rooks on both teams, especially Chicago.
Heavy backfield here on 2nd and 10 after the shot on first down. 17-0. The Wildcats on top. London does not look like they're panicking, which is good. Flip out here to Williams. Williams turns the corner and is able to get 2 yards before Clint Hendershot wraps him up on the sideline.
Yeah, Clint Hendershot, we've been calling his name all day today. Already attributed to 5 tackles. I mean, he's just dialing in on everything.
3rd and 8 from the 28. This Chicago defense really trying to ignite this crowd if they can get a stop here. 4 receivers wide, McLean under center. He will take a short drop. McLean fires. That one is tipped and incomplete. Was trying to fit it into Manning, and Maurice Spurgeon is there.
Yeah, Maurice Spurgeon coming out. He has 3 interceptions on the season, and he was looking like he was looking for a 4th. You know, so far, Chicago's defense has been covering ground game real well, but they are also out-zoning almost everything London's been doing except super safe pathing.
Phil Hunter is on. This will be the 5th punt of the day for him. 5 drives, 5 punts for the London Knights, as Angus McLean only completing 46% of his passes through this first and now through the second quarter. Davius Reed out to the 36, and Chicago comes back out. It was 1 big Ash Odom run and 1 big Liam Hammer catch, and just like that, Chicago added 7 points.
Yeah, London may have to pull back and account for that a bit more. You know, they have this comfortable lead now, nothing crazy, but they may get a bit more loose and a bit more open with the formation.
Single back in the backfield, everyone else up on the line looking to block. King under center will throw. King going to dump it out to Ash Odom off this left side, and he will step out of bounds after picking up a yard. And there's a quarterback comparison, and it's not really much of a comparison. E.T. King so far today is definitely in front, and we'll look at what they've done this season. And both pretty similar, actually, Dan.
Yeah, if you wouldn't look at the stats right now and how E.T. King has been throwing, normally they're very conservative. They play it pretty safe. Their completion rates are not terrible, and they're doing half-decent yardage, both almost coming up to 3,000 yards in the season. And they've been playing it rather safe besides a few Liam Hammer throws by E.T. King so far.
King going to take another shot, and there's a pick almost right on time. It's taken away there by Brandon Ewing, and London gets the ball back. I was just going to talk about how taking care of the ball is what both teams need to do.
Yeah, we're just talking about how conservative and how safe they are. And as soon as we see a deep throw, Andy, it's a quick pick. If that's not a commentator curse, I don't know what is.
Well, and for Chicago, you have to take some of those shots to Liam Hammer, as igniting as he is as a player. You know, you got to give him some opportunities, and sometimes those don't go your way. Offsides free play here for Williams. Jason Williams out across midfield to the 47, and they are going to decline this penalty as Williams thrills the defense with a long run.
Yeah, that right there was just a great run, making his way to the sideline, but just keeping great positioning all around him, trucking down players as he went. And I mean, if we keep seeing runs like these from both teams, maybe the shootout will happen. London just needs to catch up a bit.
Jason Williams got his start with the Alaska Storm, then made his way to Oklahoma City, now residing over across the pond for the London Knights, and he is on the field here making an impact and trying to get this London Knights team moving. So far today, 6 attempts and over 26 yards. Here's the give to Williams off the right side. Another 3 yards there is going to make it 2nd and 7.
Yeah, really cutting, just looking for an opening position. He had a few blocks going for him. Seems like they're really finding their holes and taking a bit of time, which can work out for them, but if they hesitate too much, we'll throw them on the ground.
3 in the backfield, 4 down linemen from Chicago. Only the 2 linebackers, Blaze and Hendershot, are in. They'll flip it out to Williams. Oh, what closing speed to get back there and make a huge hit. Ryan Yosef, a train is coming down the tracks, and you're going to get ran over if you're in the way.
Someone coming all the way from the strong safety position that quickly to get a tackle for loss is always a very impressive thing to see. He was gunning right there for William.
4 receivers wide on 3rd and 8. London's going to have to take a shot to try and pick up this first down. They will throw the out route to Manning, and that is not even caught. He does plow through one Chicago Wildcat, Shan Varner, on the sidelines, but the incompletion will bring up 4th down.
I think he was just mad because Shan was yelling off field that he could have turned that up and picked up the first. But, you know, it happens. He got his revenge.
Usually we only see people talking smack in the chat and the Discord server, this time on the field. If you want to get involved in the chat and discuss today's game with other fans as well as some of the players on the field, you can head over to twitch.tv/FTFnext. That's twitch.tv/FTFnext. The chat is there, and you can get involved. Let us know you're here viewing for the first time. We'll give you a shout out live on air. And if you want to watch more Simulation Football League action tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, it'll be Florida and Mexico City, both teams trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. And, that really, Dan, I'm looking forward to that game. It'll be good.
When both people are fighting for a very, just coveted spot, it's always guaranteed to be a great game.
One back in the backfield. They will flip it out to Ash Odom, and he cannot corral it. Man, he must add some popcorn or something in the locker room before the game.
He's got his hands all over that deep fried butter. Normally you put it on a stick. He forgoed the stick, Andy. Never forgo the stick. And he's just dropping balls left and right.
So, something sounds like you've had a traumatic experience that you need some discussion about. Are you good?
I'm good, Andy. Not live on air.
All right, I'm just checking. 2 in the backfield here for King under center. King going to take a 7-step drop. Wants the deep ball. King got the deep ball. Down to the 43. He connects with JC Torres.
Andy, you were just saying earlier during the pick, you do sometimes just have to take those chances. And he took that chance with what looked more like a 10-step drop. But he got the arm all the way out there for a huge throw. Seems like Chicago's heating up all over again.
Captain James, 227 in the chat, says hello from the Bayou State of Louisiana. He is watching and enjoying this. The New Orleans Pharaohs played earlier today. Could not get the result they were looking for, but we're on the field, and they will be back and ready to go. That team will be gearing up for Season 15 once we hit the offseason. Nice catch by Torres is good for 5, and hello to you, Mr. James.
Yeah, great to always see new people out here, and great tap dance right there by Torres, keeping his feet in bounds for a nice pickup of 5.
3 receivers wide. Single back is Ash Odom. 4 down linemen for London. 1 showing blitz off the top. He backs out of it. King, pressure coming anyways, floats backside. Oh, somehow complete. The defender misjudged the play, and it sneaks into the arms of JC Torres before Telemac Scarborough brings him down.
That was a pick every single day of the week and an extra day right there, Andy. He should have had that ball.
In fact, it looked like, his deflection put it in the hands of Torres. We have some shenanigan-lated game today.
Well, I know what E.T. King used his birthday wish on, and that might not have been the place to use it. He fires outside, caught at the 43. They might have to take a look at that one. Liam Hammer drags the feet.
We've seen some odd placements today. But another one right there. I'm not seeing a challenge out. I would consider it right now if I was London, but I'm not seeing anything.
Well, we don't always talk about a hammer being nimble and easy to use, but right there on the sideline, he was the tool that Chicago was looking for in order to pick up the first down. Single back offset to the left. Here's King to throw again. Down underneath, caught by Torres. Right now, it's the JC Torres and Liam Hammer show.
Yeah, you can't complain with what's coming out. You got the rookie and the 4-year veteran just being every tool in the shed. Make the hammer the saw, and the saw the bench, and E.T. King can be a vice, sure.
Have you ever tried to make a hammer into a saw, Dan?
If you grind it a bit, it could work. Who knows?
I don't think that's how that works at all. Handoff up the middle. Ash Odom. Nice run all the way up to the 30. He had an escort with him, and they will move the chains again.
Yeah, Ash Odom really just having some great longs so far in this game. Every few plays, we're seeing just sparks of greatness out of him. And for the long-term veteran, that's nothing too surprising. I'm really liking Chicago mixing up their air game with a few Ash Odom runs, really catching London off guard.
17-point lead for the Wildcats, trying to extend it here on the Knights side of the field. From here, it would be a 47-yarder for Anthony Cece if they don't gain another yard, but it is 1st and 10. Give up the middle to Odom. Odom rides through 1 and then is hit by a tidal wave at the 25. It'll be 2nd and 5.
The Charging Knights come in and take out the cat. There should be a nursery rhyme about it, Andy, but I'm not too sure. But it definitely got lanced.
I don't know where you were going with that one, and I am not 100% sure how to follow it up. So we'll just set up for 2nd and 5 here from the 25. King, short drop, flips it out to Mike Improda. Is that Improda or is that Odom? That is Ash Odom, who will pick it up to the 14. I was going to say Improda was showing off some wheels, but it turned out to be Odom.
Yeah, Odom doing what he does best, and so far, it definitely seems like he's warming up a good bit. That right there is normally what we're seeing with him, a great turn upfield to pick up the first down.
Last week, Ash Odom ran. He had a touchdown. He was going to walk in. He ended up turning around and getting tackled at the 2. If you want to see that, you can head over on TikTok to @SimulationFL. The video is there. Stephen Mullinex had a wonderful call of that, as it was very confusing, and I'm not sure what Ash Odom was looking at, but trying to make us forget that today. Don't worry, Ash, we remember.
Well, that right there, you saw a stat on the bottom, 73 yards for 11 carries right now, and Ash Odom. A great showing, much better than how he started out in this game.
They use both Improda and Ash Odom out of the backfield as receiving threats. And we haven't seen Improda touch the ball tonight, but it's just a matter of time. 4-3 look with a walked-up cornerback for London. Here's the give to Ash Odom. Odom stood up and dropped. Nice play there on the outside by Jack Russell. I've been impressed with how Russell has played today.
Yeah, Jack Russell back in the safety position has really been just monitoring the run game when it happens and be able to great stand-up right there, especially against someone like Ash Odom who's been pushing through.
London trying to protect their end zone. 2 minutes to go in the second. It's the Simulation Football League. Andy Hamilton along with Dan Mitchell in the booth for the Simulation Football League Week 12 action. Playoffs coming around the corner. Chicago trying to punch their ticket. Wildcat throw, Wildcat catch. Shan Varner, his 2nd touchdown of the day. Take that baby to the crib. The Wildcats are pouring it on.
For this game, Shan Varner had 2 touchdowns on the season. He just doubled that with this game alone, bumping up to 4 and 22 career touchdowns on top of that. So far, Chicago's just finding great openings on the field, just getting around every zone London's been throwing at them.
It's a 23-0 run with a chance for Anthony Cece to make it 24. They call him automatic. He made a field goal earlier, and now he is going to add the extra point that will put Chicago up. Kick on the way, and that is good. We've seen some blocked extra points in our days, Dan, and luckily for Cece, not on that one, as the Wildcats, they're sitting pretty so far.
Yeah, if you were fighting for a playoff spot, this is definitely where I would want to be going right after the 2-minute warning. Giving it back to London. London's definitely going to have to be high-flying and fast-moving. We haven't seen any crazy plays been too successful for them so far.
Follow the SFL on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, and more at SimulationFL, as Gabriel Manning has some room and we'll get out to the 28. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at SimulationFL. Make sure to catch content like The Kramer Show, game highlights, and more. You can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment of the action, a single game, when we're not on television. It's a wonderful YouTube channel, plenty of subscribers, and lots of content there to fill this time when there's no live sports on TV. So if you're looking for content, that's the place to find it. Ooh, slant from McLean is in a window. I don't know how it was caught because the defender, Ron Hoff, was draped all over Evan Wood there.
Yeah, he was behind the defender, Andy. I'm pretty almost positive Garrett Jr. was, just just grabbed his hand all the way through. Cool.
3 wide here for McLean. 4-2 look out of the Wildcats. McLean to throw. McLean takes a deep shot, tipped up and incomplete. He was looking for Manning, and Spurgeon was there, and that's what I was going to comment on, Dan, before this drive started, was if anyone has the weapons to get back into a 24-0 game, it's Angus McLean.
When you have both wide receivers, Saren Storm and Gabriel Manning, and then Vin Kalia on top of that, you got some weapons that he could go downfield very quickly.
3 backs in the backfield. McLean is under center. 4-2 look out of the Wildcats. McLean to throw. Dumps it out to Williams on this left side. Williams wrapped up and a loss of a yard, and London takes a timeout with 1:15 to go here. Dan, you agree with that or no?
It is what it is, personally. I think they just got to start being forced into positions where they got to start just dumping it downfield. They have the weapons, as we were just talking about, and maybe just some risk-taking for their last game of the season would be pretty fun.
5 wide. Looks like they might take a risk here on 3rd and 11. McLean is alone in the shotgun. 4 down linemen for Chicago. They bring the 4. McLean takes the shot, tipped up and incomplete. Maurice Spurgeon looked like he used his face mask to make that deflection.
Hey, it may not be soccer, but your head can still be a great thing to block the ball.
I think most coaches would disagree with that statement there, but hey, if it works, I guess.
Hey, as long as the ball is in the hands of the defender at the end of the day, who's the real winner?
Sure, yeah. I'm with you, Dan. Whatever gets the deflection, I'm all for. Phil Hunter on to kick this one away with 1:07 left to go here in the second quarter. Return from Davius Reed will get out to the 26, and you push this one down the field with 63 seconds left, or do you hand it off and try and get to the break?
I kind of want to do both, but when I see Ash Odom, I just want to see him, maybe do another breakaway. Or maybe we'll see a quick interception by London and see them break downfield. Who knows? Plenty of things open right now.
Well, yeah, and with the way Ash Odom has been running and the way Improta has been blocking for him, both could potentially be an opportunity. Single back in the backfield is Odom, and King will look to throw. Sling out to Odom on this near side. Odom with a block. Odom through one, and he will get out to the 41 and out of bounds with 57 seconds left. That was really the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that right there, defender kind of gave it to Odom as he just, instead of getting a nice open field tackle from someone in front of him, just drug him outside, and now they have a cool 57 seconds left on a stop clock with plenty of time to go. Definitely moving downfield how they were earlier.
And 3 timeouts. Plenty of time for this Wildcats offense to make something happen, and anything more than 24 points, and London might have to regroup and just try whatever they can at halftime. Single back in the backfield again is Ash Odom. London showing blitz. They back out of it. Throw over to this far side. That is caught. Marquise Reed can't make the tackle, and he is finally corralled over there by Devin Shea. Hurry up offense here on 2nd and 6. King gonna float it out to Odom again. Odom on the sidelines through one. Odom will step out of bounds as Marquise Reed forces him out at midfield. And with 35 seconds left, Chicago is moving, and we'll take a look at the rest of the Week 12 slate. Tonight at 9 Eastern, Florida and Mexico City. Tomorrow, a whole host of games starting at 3 Eastern. You have Tulsa and Charleston, St. Louis at Carolina, Arizona at Queen City, Atlanta at Vegas, and Monday night, you have Vancouver at Sioux Falls and Denver at Jacksonville, all right here on For the Fans and 11 Sports. Here's the throw from King. Oh, wow, caught. That is Varner again. And if you were not game planning for this tight end before today, you better start.
Wow, you have 1 yard to go. Ash Odom's been pretty hot very recently, Andy. And instead, they just faded up to Shan Varner in the middle. That's some 3D, 4D, big brain chess coming out there.
He is one great receiving threat, has been here for a long time. Team player, got his start in Carolina for the Skyhawks, and today is having a party as he has 2 touchdowns in the first half of play as Chicago leads 24-0 over London. King to throw, stands in the pocket, fires, caught! spin move, and down to the 18 is Liam Hammer.
You know, between Hammer and Shane Varner, you know, you got everything going on, 100 yards between the two of them, and that's, you know, over a century. It may not be a single receiver before the halftime, but even just two receivers hitting over the century mark, and your quarterback's hitting over 200 yards right now. That's nothing to complain about before halftime.
Well, London Knights owner Liam Crowder is watching another Liam on the field, contributing to this deficit that Chicago is putting on the Knights. Here is a flip outside that is caught underneath. 4-yard pickup to the top to Hammer again. King under center in a bunch. He will throw, flips it outside, caught by Torres, and he gets out of bounds with 8 seconds to go. 3rd and 2. You take a shot here, Dan.
I'd say give it Ash at least once. Odom down the ball. He may break away. He may get a touchdown. If not, you have a safe, quick 3 points.
Chicago does have a timeout. They will send on Anthony Cece. They are going to play it conservatively and just try and add the 3 points to make it 27-0. Cece will line up from here. It'll be about a 36-37 yarder. Knights look ready here. Snap is good. Hold down. Kick on the way. And good from 27. Well, I don't know why I said 37. Math clearly not my strong suit. The 27-yarder is good from Anthony Cece. They call him automatic, and for good reason.
Yeah, that's why we have stats, people, Andy. And an easy 27 for him, making him now 28 for 28. I mean, London has a quick chance with the ball. Gabriel Manning with 1 kick return touchdown so far on the season. See if he can go for another one. I think that's their best option besides just a quick gun downfield.
Kick is away. Gabriel Manning, the dangerous return man, will bring it out from his own end zone. Has 5 seconds to work with, and now 1 second for this London offense. They need a deep shot, or they might just take a knee and get out of this break.
Yeah, they may want to just go into halftime. You know, some teams just come out of halftime definitely when they're down and feel a lot better. Our big third quarter surges, or maybe they'll do one big punch downfield, Gabriel or someone else. Who knows?
2 backs in the backfield. Jason Williams, the far back. 4-2 look out of this Chicago defense. They will give to Williams off this left side. Williams through one. Williams angled back inside. If he would have gone outside, he might have had some room to start plowing down the field. Instead, he's brought down, and that will take us to the end of the half. Dan, it was exciting, and he almost got away there.
Yeah, see more of that happening maybe in the third quarter, and London can move downfield a lot better and maybe score some points as they're still scoreless going into halftime.
Well, taking a look at the halftime stats, Chicago leads the way. 14 minutes of possession, over 300 yards. London, on the other hand, not over 100 yards. 77% on third down also tells the story, as the Chicago Wildcats came out like it was a playoff game, and so far they're showing it.
Yeah, they definitely came out, and, you know, they are not letting anyone else choose their fate for the playoffs. They want that win. They want a guaranteed playoff position. You know, seeding can be whatever it is as long as they're in, because then they have a guaranteed shot. So far, Ash Odom has had some weird hiccups throughout the game, but overall been a very dangerous threat. Right now, the key return man, or key returner and wide receiver right now for Chicago is definitely Shan Varner, with Liam Hammer being a close second. Hammer being something downfield, while Varner is their guaranteed tight end who knows what they can do and get down the ball. Andy, I would have to see, are they throwing up this different style playbook than what we've seen so far because it's right before playoffs, or is this their playoff book? We will have to see, because, you know, maybe they're mixing up before to throw everyone off, because if they're playing this game expecting to go into the playoffs off a win, they're mixing it up, maybe gearing up for a different play style so they're harder to counter and throw out something unexpected. London's still in it with a two full quarters to go, but they're going to have to move hard and fast and get down the field without any real stoppage.
Well, and that's been how the game planning has been billed, is it's really chess when it comes to game planning against some of the other coordinators in the Simulation Football League. And, you know, for Chicago, I think in a win and you're in game, Dan, I think you throw everything. That you put the whole kitchen sink on the table, and then if you do make the playoffs, you get to decide what comes out and what stays in as you head to the game. But really, if I'm Chicago, I'm putting it all in, all your chips in the middle on this game right here, and so far it shows.
Definitely has. Very early lead, and they're definitely going to have to be shut down if London wants a chance in this game.
So Chicago will kick off. Angus McLean will get the ball back for his offense. Manning will be the return man to start it off. McLean, 9 of 19 today, 2.2 yards per attempt, only completing 47.4% of his passes. Gabriel Manning on the return brings it out across the 20, still moving his feet. Will get out to the 26.
Yeah, one more solid break, and he could have been gone. And that's the dangerous thing when you have Gabriel Manning returning the ball. You have to be sure to shut him down quickly. If he evades your first line of defense, it is just a coin flip in the end.
4 wide here for London. You have to imagine that they would go to the air more than the ground here, down by 27. As we enter this third quarter of play, McLean, deep drop, going to fire across the middle, and 2 Wildcats had a shot at it. Hendershot was soaring across the middle, could not make the play.
Yeah, Hendershot, just flying through, sticking hands up, going for it. Really seems like it's ball hawking all day long for the Chicago defense.
Simulation Football League right here on 11 Sports and for the fans. I'm Andy Hamilton. Dan Mitchell is joining me in the booth. Cameron Irvine behind the 1s and 2s, along with Alan and Johnny Bravo on stats for us, keeping our numbers honest. Here is McLean. He will fire. Ooh, Buddy Blaze had a chance to blaze this second half off with a pick, and he could not quite get it ignited.
Yeah, between Buddy Blaze, Mikey McGuire, and Ryan Yosef, the 3 Week 8 signings have been on fire this game, Andy. And then just having Clint Hendershot and people like Maurice Spurgeon just coming in and backing them up even more and making early tackles. It is a scary, scary day to be on offense against this Chicago defense.
3rd and 10 from the 26. London going to try and move the chains, something they had trouble with in the first half of play, only 25% on 3rd down. 5 wide for McLean, short drop, fires a deep ball across the middle, hauled in, and he paid the price for it. Gabriel Manning takes a shot, but hangs on at the 46.
Yeah, that is some acrobatics you expect out of Gabriel Manning. A huge, huge jumping play for that one, right up in the air, immediately tackled, but that's a quick move downfield to around the 45-yard line and a bit extra.
We'll set them up 1st and 10 at the 46. One of the best plays of London's game so far today. That a 20-yard reception indeed actually is the longest play of the game. For the Knights, I should say. Chicago has had quite a few highlights. Here is McLean. Throw underneath. Buddy Blaze has had now 2 opportunities, and he almost looks more content with batting it down so he can hit people on the next play.
Yeah, the outside linebacker having a lot of fun, it looks like, playing around the ball. He's guessing these routes and doing it right, just throwing down everything thrown at him. It is a very interesting game plan right now.
4 wide, a bunch formation to the top of your screen. 4-2 look out of Chicago. Here is McLean to throw. McLean on a corner route, caught by Manning. That's a good route. I don't know if we've seen that one today, but it was open for Manning.
Yeah, Manning really finding a nice in-between areas of the zone as we get to see a replay on that one, and I definitely want to see it as we get this angle. He just cuts out a little bit to the sideline, and he's wide open, even though there's a solid 3 to 4 Chicago defenders on his right-hand side.
Manning not related to Eli or Peyton, for those of you who may be viewing for the first time. Just a gentleman who found the league and wanted to become a player, just like you could do. Whether gentleman or lady, you can join the Simulation Football League by heading to simulation.football. Just like Jason Williams did, and he picks up 9 right there to the 27.
Yeah, you saw the real afterburners kick on for the night. He got up on his horse and picked up a nice 9.
Well, usually you do see knights on horses, and usually they bring their sword, and on this drive, the London Knights are starting to pierce the armor of the Chicago Wildcats just a little bit.
Cats wear armor? First time I've heard of it.
I was going for the metaphorical armor, but yeah, you get the picture. McLean gonna take a deep shot, tipped up and incomplete. Manning almost had a second shot at it, but Jesse Vick in the area says not today.
See, that's when the cat's wearing armor, Andy. When they got the face shield and it's on their paws with the claws. And then, great pick right there. Almost pick. And then Manning almost picked it up again. But overall, great play.
You're really getting into this cat armor thing too literally. It was a metaphor there, Dan.
But, cats can have natural armor. Furs, questionably naturally armor.
I'm going to go with a hard no on that one, but we'll see what the chat on FTF next on Twitch says. Here's the give to Williams. Williams has the first down to the 26, just barely.
Yeah, that was a very close call right there for Williams, but it did give London a new set of downs. Williams doing his guaranteed job, which is just getting those first downs in a quick burst for 1 or 2 yards there.
4 catches for Manning. They give to Williams. Power running off this left-hand side, and he picks up 4. Angled back inside again there, Dan.
Yeah, we've seen it happen a few times, and you just have to question every time he does it when the outside's pretty much wide open, at least for another 3-4 yards.
Second and 6 from the 22. 8.5 minutes to go here in the third. London threatening in Wildcats territory. McLean under center will take a 3-step drop, dump it out to Williams. Jason Williams is tracked down and driven out of bounds at the 22. He'll get a yard.
Yeah, he couldn't do much right there. Met immediately at the line and just turned off field. 3rd and 5, see if they get another pass. They're at Chicago's 22. They're almost in a very comfortable field goal range. If they wanted to go for it, they definitely have the opportunity to right now.
4 wide receivers wide for McLean under center. Williams the lone back. 4 down linemen for Chicago. McLean throws, caught. That is the first catch of the day for Saren Storm, the leading receiver for London this season.
Yeah, you'd be surprised that he'd be the leading receiver out of this game. Not because he's dropped or had anything against him himself, but because he hasn't really had the opportunity, as you see the reliable rookie. You see the yards per reception right there at 18.4, which is 5th most in the league. When he gets the ball, it's normally deep downfield. 753
receiving yards. Very good opening season for Saren Storm. We look forward to him for seasons to come. Out route up to the top. Caught. Gabriel Manning. London is on the board. The Knights are not going to sleep just yet. 6 points from Angus McLean.
They're not weighed down by their armor too much. And, that was a great opening play that they kind of needed to get their momentum going again. Being down by 27 is bad, but if they can keep chipping away at it and their defense keeps standing up Chicago at least by a bit, they could turn this game around because they still have plenty of time.
Yeah, really good drive to open this second half there from Angus McLean and this offensive unit. They had a 20-yard reception to Manning on a 3rd and long, which kept the drive alive, and they convert it into 7 points. London cuts into the lead. The Knights have 7, Chicago at 27. It's the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Chicago, Illinois, the site of Week 12 Simulation Football League action. I have Dan Mitchell here with me in the booth. I am Andy Hamilton, and this is the Simulation Football League. London just drive down the field, and they score 7 points. They kick it back to Davius Reed and the dangerous Chicago Wildcats, who put up 27 first-half points, and now their offense will come back out on the field.
Yeah, this is really a make it or break it time early on for London. If they get a good defensive showing here, they definitely have plenty of time for their offensive to work it back and just blow through this game. But if E.T. King can keep running it down just how he has with Liam Hammer and Shan Varner, it's going to be a nasty back and forth.
King is under center. Odom, the lone back in the backfield. King throws his 25th completion of the day, is good for 5 yards to Liam Hammer.
Yeah, Liam Hammer out here with 6 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. That's how you get a rook with very high numbers, definitely as high as he had, 349s before the game. But he was a week 8 signing, so over 300 yards in about 4 weeks is very impressive.
I formation, spread, 3 receivers out. London in a 3-4 defense trying to stop Ash Odom. Mike Improta in front of him. Here's the give to Odom, and he might have got back to the line of scrimmage. Frustrated there as this London defense got to him fairly quickly. William Davidson in on the stop.
Yeah, they actually dropped him back 1 yard right there, right before the line of scrimmage. Now we're at 3rd and 6. Big stop time right now for London.
Yeah, they look like they're moving up to the line to play either man or bump. They will play man. Here's King, going to try and fire one down the middle of the field. Caught! J.C. Torres right there at the 49-yard line, one-on-one with Marquise Reed, and he makes the play.
That's what happens when you start pressing up, expecting Ash Odom or just trying to put some pressure on E.T. King. You do leave a bit open in the backfield, and when you're playing one-on-one right now, it's not something you always want to do. Torres just, winding up with that ball 100%. They get a new set of downs right at midfield.
And that really has got to be deflating for this Knights defense, who if they could have got off the field, they would have been well on their way to possibly getting back in this game. Now 5 wide, E.T. King looks like he's going to gamble again. King fires on the corner route. That's caught! Oh, it's time! Get your parachute pants and your gold chain. Hammer time into the end zone.
The Hammer's got claws. It's a claw hammer, Andy, because he comes out here, and that's another touchdown for him. The rookie's making a huge showing, and it's, 33-34 pending the extra point. London going to have to catch up quick or do something right now because Chicago's offense is popping off.
Brandon Ewing on the outside was one-on-one with Hammer. He got out-jumped at the point of attack, and it was all Liam Hammer from there as he made the catch and got down the sideline to score his 2nd touchdown of the game. Anthony Cece on to try and add the extra point here with just over 6 minutes to go in the 3rd. Kick on the way. It is good. Well, London struck first here in this second half. Chicago has answered and reestablished their lead. It's Chicago 34, London 7. Andy Hamilton along with Dan Mitchell, Simulation Football League Week 12 action. The playoffs are right around their corner, and Chicago is trying to punch their ticket. They are up 34-7. 7-5 would put them in the playoffs. Here is Manning on the return out to the 23. This London Knights team tried to get back into the game. They set up a good first drive here in this second half, but their defense struggled to keep Chicago out of the end zone.
Yeah, it was an early work for the London offense, a great drive downfield, and at first, London's defense had a good showing, putting a good stop for Chicago's offense, but one big splash play down the top side, and it was gone.
Empty field here for Manning. He dumps across the middle. That is caught for the first down. Nice catch made there by Evan Wood.
Yeah, Evan Wood, the rookie tight end who we haven't seen much of all game or really this season. The secondary tight end hasn't had much ball time, but if they decide to use him, he is there. Maybe mix up the playbook a bit.
6 foot 225 out of Wood, a little bit small for a tight end, but makes a good grab there. Here is the throw out to the outside to Williams. Williams will fight forward for 2, and Williams so far this season has not really been, the major factor that we saw in Oklahoma City, where he got the nickname of Thrilliams, but he makes a nice grab there on the outside. Empty backfield on 2nd and 8 from the London 37. 5 minutes to go here in the third. McLean, short drop, is going to fire the out route. Caught. That is a first down, and that's Williams out there making the catch. Oh, no. They marked him short. How do you do that?
That was a very interesting spot right there, Andy. I really thought after he turned up just a bit he had it, but they give him the 3rd and inches, maybe because of that back foot, but I'd have to argue maybe we'll see a challenge. Probably not. It's not looking like it, but they just have to punch forward a few bit of inches, but if it doesn't work, that'll come back to bite them.
Liam Crowder might have left his challenge flag back in the United Kingdom because he has kept it in his pocket so far today. Handoff Williams off this near side. Clint Hendershot denies him, and it'll be 4th down.
And right now we're seeing the rushing yards per game right now for London. You see it go back and forth, 25.7 yards per game, which is ranked 20th. And then season 12, they jump up to 150, which is 3rd, 182, which was 1st, and then back down this season with 96.3, which is 13th.
Well, when they have a rushing attack in those middle 2 years in season 13 and season 12, those were their 2 best seasons in the league. Making the playoffs in one of them and then narrowly missing them last season. And their first season was not great. And this season, they are lining up to pick 1st in the Simulation Football League draft, which goes to show you what a rushing attack can do for a team in this league. Well, speaking of rushing attack, Ash Odom and Mikey Improda are, potentially getting ready to take this Chicago team to the playoffs, but first they have to get through these last 2 quarters. E.T. King, out route there, is caught by Davius Reed. Now they're just trying to get everyone involved, Dan.
Yeah, might as well get some, just the ball mixed around a good bit, find out those routes, because they're at a very comfortable lead where they can play pretty loose, even if it's playing, 1 to 2 man. It's not terrible for them right now, and they can definitely open up their playbook.
Second catch there for Reed, now up to 40 yards on the day. Improda as well as Ash Odom in the backfield. Here is King to throw again. Blocking is good. King takes a shot and caught again. Liam, big play hammer, is wide open, and he is trying to really put on a show.
Yeah, when you have a rookie who's just this reliable, it's kind of crazy. Instant connection and just great plays. It was a little high, but he still made the catch really no problem. The only thing better that could have happened was if he got ahead of it a bit more and just went straight downfield with it.
New set of downs here from the 38. Gun, 2 receivers top of the formation, 4-3 look, and they are going to run a crossing pattern. King going to take a shot, tipped away and incomplete at the 38.
Yeah, that time really playing the ball, Brandon Ewing right in the air, kind of came down on the receiver at the same time.
He's trying to find Torres there running the corner route, and it was a nice job by Ewing to climb the ladder and make the play.
Yeah, he really got a nice vertical right there, even with all the armor, and dropped right on him.
Single back in the backfield, 2nd and 10 from the 38. 3:23 to go here in the third. 4-3 look out of London. Flip out to Ash Odom. Odom will get the angle, and he's able to pick up 6.
Yeah, Ash Odom looking like what you're expecting out of him, picking up a nice 5-6 yards per play. Really can't ask more out of a halfback. See the stats right there. E.T. King, 373 yards, 4 touchdowns with a 128.4 rating. That is a beautiful day. We're not even in the fourth quarter.
And to think, all I got for my birthday was a pair of socks.
Those socks are really useful.
Speaking of socks, here's Ash Odom using those socks and shoes to pick up a couple yards, but London will get the stop, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, they're at London's 29, and CC's been pretty consistent. See if they bring them out for an extra 3 attempt, and they do. It'd be a 30-point lead if he makes this.
Stephen Cleland was the one who made the tackle on that last play, a good tackle to stop Chicago and force this field goal attempt. Kick is on the way from CC, and that is through from 46. He stays automatic and at 100%, and it'll be 37-7. The London Knights get the stop, and Chicago gets to add to their lead. Knights down by 30. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. Beautiful afternoon here in Chicago, Illinois, and London is in town for the final game of their regular season. Chicago playing, obviously, in the final game of their regular season as well. It's week 12, but they are trying to extend their season with a win here today. They are in the driver's seat. Gabriel Manning off the edge. Manning, a spin move. Uh-oh, look out. Gabriel Manning, you better pack your bags. You have a one-way ticket to the end zone as he crosses the 5 and the pylon. Touchdown, London. They strike back.
Talk about getting on your horse, Andy. He got up and giddied up because, wow, he just ran over one man, spin moved another, and he was gone from there. Makes it 2 on the season for kick return touchdowns. Exactly what London needed if they had any chance of getting back in this game. They get this, and their defense really steps it up. They do still have a chance.
2 minutes to go in the third. Dan, would you try the onside on the ensuing kickoff? I would. Why not?
I mean, it's the last game. Yeah, why not? I think it'd be fun. I think if we make this game real interesting.
I think you should do it like the Super Bowl where you line them up like you're going to kick it deep and then just do the onside anyways, catch them off guard. I think that could be good for London. Kick on the way, and that is good. Gabriel Manning strikes quickly, and London is not out of it just yet. 2 minutes to go in the third when we return from Chicago. It's the Simulation Football League. Andy Hamilton, along with Dan Mitchell, Johnny Bravo, and Alan are doing our stats for us today. Plenty of ways to get involved in the Simulation Football League. You can become a coach, coordinator, player, owner. You can help out with stats. You can be one of the broadcasters calling the games like myself. We would love to get more voices in the booth and bring some different flavors to the league. You can also be a statistician. You can help the league with social media. You can be part of our beat writing team, which writes incredible stories, which you can read right now about the league on simulationfl.net. Plenty of ways to get involved, Dan. Plenty of ways to make an impact around the league. And we thank everyone for their help during Season 14. And we look forward to the minor league season kicking off later this month. 2 in the backfield here. They will give off the edge to Ash Odom. Odom through 1. Ooh, Odom then gets driven to the ground harshly. That was a good play there on the London side of the field.
Yeah, really got the rug swept up from under him. It looked like he just dropped immediately. And talking about getting involved, and you can also join our Discord server from simulation.net and talk to all of the great people we have in the server. Have so many people to talk to. I can get involved directly from there.
And off, Odom again. Odom up through the middle, and then he is dragged down. And when you join that Discord server, what you do is you get to chat with our wonderful community, which includes anyone who has a player across our 20 SFL franchises, as well as you can just talk about general sports stuff. Plenty of sports talk going on, especially with free agency and other things surrounding, different sports worlds. We talk about that all the time. King gonna fire underneath, one-handed catch, and then drag down short of the line to gain. That's the stop that London needed there, Dan, and it was a good tackle.
Yeah, very early stop for London. 3 and out's good for him. A quick punt right to him. Clock's still running right now. 42 seconds left in the third quarter. So we'll have to see if they can make quick moving of this ball.
Darren Franklin on to kick this one away. Franklin 6'2", 215. Pretty athletic for a punter. He will kick this one off. And the return here for London. Manning, probably still tired from the last return. I tell you what, I'm tired from calling it.
Yeah, I mean, running a quick 100-yard sprint isn't something anyone really ever wants to do, but when it ends up in a scoring touchdown, you really can't complain.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of our members try and run in this league, and that's part of the beauty of being able to compete from your house is that you can run a 100-yard touchdown back and not even be tired or break a sweat. You can do so while lying on your couch or in your favorite chair. Flip out here to Manning is going to be good to the 46, and Dan, that's what I love about the league is that you can do everything all from the comfort and safety of your home, which right now is more important than ever.
Yeah, definitely. It is a very sad thing what's going on right now, but we can get to see that our great esport can still continue on and maybe boost someone's morale and maybe take their minds off of it, which is really all you can ever ask for.
Exactly. Glad to be the opportunity for anyone out there to watch sports and participate as a player, coach, or owner. That's the end of the third. It is all Chicago in front by 23. However, the London Knights have the ball back, and they've got a little momentum swinging their way. We'll be right back on 11 Sports and For the Fans. This is the Simulation Football League live on 11 Sports and for the fans. I'm Andy Hamilton. Welcome into the booth along with Dan Mitchell here in Chicago, Illinois. The Chicago Wildcats on defense wearing gray and the orange shoes. London on the other side wearing white and maroon pants along with the yellow trim. Here is Angus McLean on the outside. That one is caught by Robert Garrett Jr., a 4-yard catch to midfield.
Yeah, having something straight down the middle and then a nice out route. And don't forget, this tonight at 9 Eastern, Florida at Mexico City. So we still have more SFL action today.
Big game there. Both Florida and Mexico City have won championships, in the last 6 seasons. So good opportunity for both of them as they're both trying to make their playoff push. McLean underneath. That one is caught and turning upfield. Vincalia gets out to the 42-yard line. Blaze rides him down at the 42.
Yeah, and they're right on the bottom of your screen. McLean's thrown 166 yards, which isn't a terrible day, but when currently compared to E.T. King is not nearly enough.
First and 10. 10:35 to go here in the fourth quarter. London going to have to get something moving if they're going to try and get back into this game. They do have all 3 timeouts, which will help. Shotgun snap to McLean. Pressure coming. He's just barely able to get it away as Gerald Giudice put a hit on him. And it looks like McLean is feeling that one a little bit.
Yeah, he had to lob that one. I'm not sure if he meant to try and throw it away or if it just came out of his hands, but they ruled it him trying to throw it away. So lucky him. Now they're at 2nd and 10.
There was a look at Saren Storm. Only the one catch for 14 yards today so far has been held in check by this defensive unit. Shotgun snap to McLean. Out route there is caught. Had to fall down to make the grab. Right there was Kalia, and Clint Hendershot taps him down at the 36.
Yeah, he had wide open room too, so it's a shame he had to fall as there was no one really going to cover him. Could have easily picked up the first. Gabriel May on the bottom only have 6 of the 17 targets on him.
4 wide receivers spread wide for McLean. 4 down linemen for Chicago. Only 4 people in front of the sticks for the Wildcats. All slants route. That one's thrown and tipped up and incomplete. Buddy Blaze has been playing that passing game really well today.
Yeah, Buddy Blaze up in the air all day today. You know, 4 bat downs right now for an outside linebacker is almost unheard of, and he's been in the air for a lot of it. Good for him.
Buddy Blaze, they should call him Buddy Plays because, boy, he has been making them all day.
No. No, it was pretty good. It was half decent. I'll give it to you.
I thought you were saying, no, they shouldn't. I was like, oh, man, wow. I have never missed the mark that bad. Well, Davius Reed, got the mark right there. He'll haul in the fair catch at the 11, and Chicago's offense will come back out today. They've pretty much, Dan, done anything they wanted to.
Yeah, it really seems like they've mixed up the playbook a few times, and it's worked out for them. And I think they're just trying to get around and, use all of their assets to their full potential.
Spread formation, and the starters are still in. E.T. King is under center. Here is the throw. They will flip it out to Mikey Improda, and Improda has a 3-yard catch on the sidelines. I told you he would get involved eventually, Dan.
Hey, when you're throwing it all around, they'll eventually give it to him, and you see the fullback eventually get the ball and pick up a solid 3 yards as their new drive gets started.
Improda, I met him down in Boston at the Simulation Football League Season 14 draft, and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I could not speak higher of Improda as Ash Odom breaks off another 3 or 4-yard run, and he has had quite the day today. 82 yards right there.
Yeah, 82 yards with a 41-yard long, and he had another about 38-yard long on top of that as well.
And Improda is a big part of those yards there. He has been paving the way and road grading for Ash Odom, moving any debris out of the way as as they move the chains and get moving. So here is King firing again. Ooh, nearly picked off underneath. That was Telemac Scarborough, who was roaming the area and almost made a play.
Yeah, J.C. Torres was the targeted receiver for that ball, and it was just kind of in a whole swamp of cats, and it was not a nice place to be. And as you're saying in Prota, it's great to have a really good fullback who will block for you. Same for a tight end. People who will just have your back as a halfback, really just paving your path for great runs.
Darren Franklin in to punt this one away. Snap back kick on the way, and that will be fielded there by Manning, and he will try and get a little return. He'll get out to the 43, so some good field position for London.
Yeah, starting at their own 43 is definitely not a bad place to be. They can quickly move to midfield and then get in field goal range, though a field goal wouldn't really help them too much right now. They need big points, very big points to catch up here.
Well, and the other thing to consider for London is at this point, you're really building for the future. Whether you win this game or not, you were still not going to be making the playoffs, and really we're going to be preparing for the #1 pick overall next season. So the goal is to, make your team better today, learn some stuff. As a game planner myself, testing out new plays is always something in a game that looks a lot different than it does at home while you're testing it. So it's a good opportunity for London, even though you're down by a bunch here, to test some stuff that you wouldn't normally do in a game.
Definitely see that as a very good opportunity for them.
3 wide here for McLean. Short drop underneath, and Buddy Blaze, that was quite possibly one of the calmest deflections I've ever seen. I mean, he just really kind of batted it down slowly.
Yeah, it was kind of a equivalent, I think, to a golf clap right there. Earlier, he had, a giant roaring just bat down my bad, but that time he was just, oh no, good ball, please be on the ground. I think he was mocking the British a bit at the London team.
That was almost like a cat playing with a ball of yarn, and with the way that Chicago has played today, if their defense is willing to take a cat nap, now would be the time. Up by 23 points late in the fourth. McLean going to take a shot on a corner route. That's caught down the right side. They caught him cat napping, and the play is going to go down to the 7. An incredible catch and striking just when we were, thinking that he might not have a big game. Saren Storm comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, there you go, London. That's a huge attack for them. Andy, they definitely took your advice and took that nap. There was one man on him, 27. That's Mikey McGuire, and he was way behind him on the man coverage. Storm was gone and barely catching up. The other secondary comes swooping in. Now they're at Chicago 7. Able to flip on this drive.
Heavy power formation. They've had the run plays down here to the bottom to some success, and Jason Williams has success there. Touchdown for London. They strike, and they are still putting back some fight in this game.
Just walks in there, Andy. Not a charge, nothing abrasive, just finds his blocks every single time. Had a solid 2-3 blocks set up right there, and walks into the end zone for a nice, easy points. 21 pending the extra point. They're down by 16, which is very doable, honestly, with how much time they have left in this game.
It is 2 possessions that would give them the opportunity with 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions to tie the game up. So I guess Chicago in the chat might let me have it for telling them that they can take a nap, because if you're taking a nap now, you might let London right back in the door. The door is open. The question is, can the Knights stick their foot in, step in, and say hello? We'll be right back. It's the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Chicago, Illinois, the site of today's Simulation Football League Week 12 action. London not out of it yet. They are down by 16. It's a 2-possession game here with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. They struck relatively quickly on that last drive. Davius Reed out to the 23, and it all becomes about defense and stopping Ash Odom, Dan, now.
Yeah, right now it's shutting down Odom every chance they get, and when E.T. King gets his big ideas up and wants to throw a deep one, really reading it and getting some better man coverage on it. Right now, you see right there, Ash Odom, 82 yards for 17 carries, 4.8 average. Nothing crazy coming out of him, but definitely something reliable.
Far Jokers is the line, and it will be a handoff up the middle to Odom. Odom dragged down from behind, and when you look at him, he is really a dual threat both through the air and on the ground. 9th most in all-purpose yards in the league this year.
Yeah, that right there, 1156 for rushing yards and 341 for receiving yards. 341 for a halfback is a very impressive number, and he has 8 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown. That is some nice, workup for him and good build.
3-4 look out of this London Knights defense, trying to defend 5 yards here at the 28. Handoff Odom. Odom stuffed in the backfield. Telly Max Scarborough was right there.
Yeah, that was something that London really needed. A huge stop to Ash Odom. He went nowhere. The line just collapsing on him. Now they're 3rd and 7 and kind of forced to throw, but we got to see how they work with it.
King has been on fire today. They're going to try and see if that flame has not burnt out into embers just yet. He's 32 of 42, going for the deep shot. Got the deep shot. Oh, Liam Hammer. He's trying to take it, and he will. Touchdown, Chicago. They strike.
Again with the hammer. I don't have any more hammer puns, Andy. We are out, I do believe, but just add on another one. Another nail in the coffin with the hammer. There we go. I got one out of it. And 3 touchdowns for Liam Hammer today. Over 200 yards by a single receiver. It's a wild day coming out here for the Cats.
That is his 10th touchdown in the last 4 games. Liam Hammer has really just taken this Chicago Wildcats team into the stratosphere. And the Wildcats riding high are trying to punch their ticket to the postseason.
Andy, the only thing I want to propose is I want to know what his stats would be right now if he was a week 1 signing, or at least just see his stats next season. With how much he's been improving in this very short amount of time, he could just blast off next season for sure.
Yeah, these mid-season signings for Chicago have really put a new fire into this Wildcats team. They're electric, they're exciting, and they could be a dark horse come playoff time.
Yeah, right there. You see playoffs again. A win here would guarantee the Wildcats a spot in the playoffs. And then you have many 5 and 6 teams that have yet to play this week that will be vying for these final few spots.
Well, and as an owner, Dan, I mean, all you need is a spot in the tournament. Forget what seed you are. I'll take the 10th seed if you give me a seat at the dance. And Chicago is trying to get into the big dance here. And so far, so good. They increased their lead again to 3 possessions.
Yeah, every time we see London, have a really good drive, get that score, show a spark of coming back, Wildcats wake up from their cat nap and say, no, not this time, so they can just go back to sleep. It's that, Cats, how they just try to be mean. They give you a chance, and they put it back down.
4 receivers wide for London. 4 down linemen they give to Williams up the middle, and Williams is ridden down by Gerald Giudice right there. And when you look at the running back comparison, Williams only 46 yards. And as we showed on the earlier graphic, I mean, the run game is really what London has kind of had as their bread and butter in their team history. And so when they don't have a good run game going like they haven't tonight, it really kind of shows based upon how their team has scored. Flip out here to Williams on this near side. Williams cannot even get the edge. He will pick up a couple. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, but give it up to the Wildcat defense. They've just been able to read him for most of the night. Anytime they hand it off, he's just been able to get dropped either in the backfield or somewhere right around the line. They have a beat on him, definitely with someone like Clinton Hendershot.
4 receivers wide. 4 down linemen. Chicago brings 4. Oh, Giudice cannot bring him down, but the second wave of Wildcats get to Angus McLean. The sack, is made by Raymond Jones III.
Yeah, Raymond Jones now having 10 sacks on the season for a free agent rookie right there. That is some impressive numbers, definitely for a rook. Good on him, and a big stop right there on McLean. Now they're 4th and 13. I think they're at go for it territory, Andy.
I think you're wrong. They bring out the punter.
Oh,
If you would have waited just 1 second, Dan, you would have been able to get the eye on Phil Hunter coming out onto the field. Like I said, Dan, I think London right now is in play for next season mode. Try out some plays that we wouldn't usually try out. You know, let some of our backups hit the field to get some experience for next season. Pack it in and prepare for season 15. I think when it got to 2 possessions, they had the opportunity to get back into it, but with E.T. King and Liam Hammer connecting deep, you know, it's not worth the risk of, you know, getting into one of these shootouts with a dangerous Wildcat team.
I think you are right there, Andy. It is the end of the season. You know, they can try out some new stuff, as you said, and just trying to work things out. But the Wildcats give it off to Ash Odom once again.
Odom looking a little fatigued there. Could have probably got to the edge if he was fresh, but, you know, he's saying there to everyone, he's like, guys, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little tired.
I mean, they've been really trusting with him, and he's been trucked a good amount of times this game. Eventually, fatigue will get to you, definitely at the bottom of the 4th quarter, so you got to give it up to him.
Well, a bit surprising that the starters are in, although injuries don't matter, because here in the Simulation Football League, if you get injured, you're back next week. So for those of you who are new to the league, it won't matter injury-wise. It would just be fatigue. Here's the give to to Ash Odom up the middle. Improda leading the way. We'll set up 3rd and 6. If you are looking for more football tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, Florida will head down south of the border to Mexico City, Mexico. The Aztecs and Storm face off. Both champions in the last 6 seasons, both trying to punch their playoff ticket and trying to get to the game. It's going to be a good one, Dan. I just have a feeling.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing to see. You got 2 great teams with big history riding on them for a playoff position. You know, that's just a storm bringing for a interesting game.
2 in the backfield, give up the middle to Ash Odom again, and he will lose a couple yards. This London defense gets a stop.
Yeah, this is stuff, you know, maybe they're trying out some new things, as you were saying. Maybe their defense trying to step up. And now as, you know, Chicago punt it away and give London just some room to work. Maybe they'll throw something deep downfield.
Visit sector6apparel.com for all league and team apparel, including hoodies, t-shirts, team jerseys, and more. Sector 6, the official apparel provider of the SFL. Dan, I'm wearing a Vancouver Legion sweatshirt right now. I have a home and an away jersey for the Legion, and plenty of other teams are setting up their shop or already have their shop up on sector6apparel.com. You can head there and get some wonderful gear. It's of the highest quality, just like that Downing almost was. Instead, it goes into the end zone, and London will set up at the 20.
Yeah, just a step off there, and he slid into the end zone, then placed them at the 20. I do have to get around to get some Sector 6 apparel myself, Andy. Just got to wait for some good shipping times and look for all my favorite teams to pick up multiple different sweatshirts.
Also get SFL gear there, the black and gold of the Simulation Football League. You can represent to all your friends and family the best esports football league in the world. Angus McLean dumps off underneath here to Jason Williams, and now they'll get some hurry up in. Shotgun snap here to McLean. Another dump out to Williams. That almost seems to be the hot route. He steps out of bounds at the 24. If you're new to the SFL, you can get your spot in the SFL's minor league, the SFLM, today. Hashtag claim your spot, and you can begin your SFL career. Subscriptions are going fast, and inaugural kickoff is later this month. First Pro subscribers get first priority on choosing their positions. Don't delay your career another second. We can't wait for you to make an impact. You can head over to www.simulation.football to join the league. Here is a shot, and that is overthrown from McLean. He was looking for, Saren Storm out there on the corner route again. It worked once for him. Couldn't make it work there.
Yeah, trying something they know did work earlier is always nice. And Andy, I know I'm really excited about the minor league coming out because that means we get constant SFL action. all year long. No in between. We're play 2 seasons a year, and now we have a season of minor league, a season of minor league, just constant action for us, so you never miss out on anything.
Going for it here on fourth. This one caught over the middle. Evan Wood makes the catch down to the 34. They will go 4 wide again, trying to pad those stats. Here is McLean to throw again for Pride. McLean picked off. Chicago takes it away, and they're coming back to the Knights 37 right at the 2-minute warning. Chicago in the driver's seat. They can smell the playoffs as Brandon Vesey steals one away from Angus McLean. The Wildcats are punching their ticket. We'll be right back. Under 2 minutes to go here in Chicago, Illinois. Andy Hamilton along with Dan Mitchell. Cameron Irvine behind the 1s and 2s along with Alan and Johnny Bravo keeping track of our stats tonight. Give is off the left side to the backup, and that will lose a couple yards. Chicago has the replacements in. That was Enrico Bovino, who will lose 2 yards back to the 39.
Yeah, all Chicago really needs to do right now is wait for London to burn their timeouts, probably keeping it on the ground, but a first down would be necessary just to keep the ball in their possession for the rest of this game.
3 in the backfield, 1 receiver to the bottom of the screen for the backup quarterback, J.D. Miller, who hands it off to Bovino, and he'll get a yard back. And these Wildcats going to be going to the playoffs, Dan, and today they look very dangerous.
Yeah, whoever is ending up facing them in the playoffs will have to, account for so many different variables right now, between things like Liam Hammer just bouncing it downfield, E.T. King finding some great holes and openings in zoning, and then, Ash Odom just being a reliable halfback down the middle. You got plenty of options. You have to cover all of them. The defense has stepped up pretty much the entire time as well.
There is a shot. It is caught down the field. Miller, a beautiful throw, and Yuya Iba, a catch there at the 18. That might have been the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that puts them with the first down. See if they go for the score, which would actually give London the possession back. Not that would make a huge difference besides more stat padding going on. But no more timeouts right now for London. Clock will start running after this play again.
London does not have any more timeouts, so Miller will line up to take a knee. To keep up with how your player or any other players are doing this season, you can visit simulationfl.net for standings, leaderboards, and sortable team stats. The rookie big board is there too, tracking the next superstars in the SFL. Well, speaking, Dan, of superstars in the SFL and stats, if you had to pick a player of the game tonight, who would you select?
Oh, I want to say Liam Hammer, honestly. He's just been so good tonight. So just open wherever he goes. A wide receiver having 242 yards on 9 receptions, no doubt. That's insane. It's crazy. It is wild. I mean, give it up also to E.T. King for 475 yards in a single game. That is a massive number. That's and he's averaging, we were talking about him being conservative, but he's over 10.8 yards per attempt right now. Liam Hammer's 27 yards per reception. That's crazy. It's some wild numbers out here.
I'm going with King. I'm going with the birthday boy. I'm going to get him a present to go along with the gift of going to the playoffs that Shan Varner has given to Mr. King. I think 77% completion percentage, 10.8 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns, and a 139.9 QBR, to me, is good enough for player of the game. It is a wonderful birthday for E.T. King, as they're going to actually, I think, they're probably going to call it, although we saw CeCe walking onto the field. Do you dare try and sneak a field goal? I mean, that would just be
Kind of
disrespectful, right?
mean, not nice at all. But no, they just run down the clock. I definitely see giving it to King. I could even see King right now taking, offensive player of the week right now. He's massive game for him. Great job by the Wildcats.
Well, that's all she wrote here from Chicago, Illinois. The Wildcats heading to the Simulation Football League playoff. They have punched their ticket with a 44-21 victory over the London Knights. The stats tell you everything right there. 500 yards of offense for the Wildcats, over 20 minutes of possession, and they get the victory.
Yeah, I mean, when you're moving up and down the field 5.5 times worth of yardage, you just have complete control of the ball. 7 more minutes time of possession. London had some good showings every once in a while, but it really seemed like every time they would score, Wildcats would just immediately wake up and have a huge, scoring to remind them, put them back in their place. Great showing right now by the Wildcats. Very excited to see what they do in the playoffs and who they have to face. I'm very excited for these playoffs, Andy. I think they're going to be a crazy one.
They will be watching and waiting with bated breath, not only tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern when Florida takes on Mexico City, but also throughout tomorrow and Monday night's slate as they prepare to watch these teams and figure out who they will be playing in the Simulation Football League playoffs. Tonight at 9 Eastern, Florida and Mexico City try and make their playoff push a little bit closer. You can watch that right here on 11 and 11 Sports and for the fans. And you can follow us on all social medias at SimulationFL. You can join the league by heading over to SimulationFL.net. Get involved as a player for the minor league. You can get on the field and make an impact like any of the players here. And in just a moment, after we watch Hammer score another touchdown, we are, we're going to get to the player of the game.
Yeah, it was overall, you can just show so many replays of Hammer. Every single one of the touchdowns was great. And I'm excited to be back here next week with you, Andy, when we get to call the one of the first playoff games of this season.
Absolutely. Will be exciting. We will be ready and geared up for a playoff matchup. And we look forward to everyone in the chat and watching at home on 11 Sports or for the fans. Join in with us. Liam Hammer, your player of the game. It's Hammer time. 9 receptions, 241 yards, 3 touchdowns as he wins today's player of the game. From Chicago, Illinois, for the Simulation Football League, 11 Sports and for the fans, I'm Andy Hamilton with Dan Mitchell signing off, and we'll see you next weekend in the playoffs.